Welcome to Rising Stars, where Miriam Knight, publisher of New Consciousness Review, interviews exciting new voices in the world of progressive and transformational books, films, and ideas, who offer intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us as we celebrate the conscious awakening and explore many expressions of consciousness in action.
All you beautiful people, I'm Miriam Knight, and my guest today is MJ Schwader. He is a transformational writing coach and internet marketer, and he has 16 years of shamanic training in ancient principles of energy consciousness. MJ is also the publisher of New Connection online journal, the current incarnation of the print magazine I founded 16 years ago. Well, things do have a way of coming full circle, and MJ and I discovered a shared desire to create a better way for people teaching, facilitating, and writing about conscious living to share their passion and promote themselves and their work. We decided to join forces and pool our expertise in publishing and consciousness, writing, promotion, and technology. And the result is a collaboration between New Consciousness Review and a brand new kind of online multimedia directory that we have named The Happy Guide. That's HAPI for Health, Awakening, Purpose, and Inspiration. It is going live tomorrow, Mercury retrograde permitting. And I am thrilled to welcome MJ Schwader to the show so we can tell you all about it. Welcome, MJ.
Good to be here, Miriam. It's exciting.
Well, it's good to hear you.
Yes.
You know,
we had a little technical glitch there, so we're good.
A little technical problem, right.
Yep.
Mercury retrograde, as we said. I would like our listeners to get to know you, as you are a person of many parts. So let's start with your coaching work. What is a transformational writing coach, and how did you get into this field?
Well, I'll start with how I got into the field, and I'll go into a little bit of the transformational part. My degree is in writing from Oregon State University, and I was a technical writer for many years, and then got out of that, did a few other things, and over the years just did more and more in the publishing arena. Started to help speakers, interestingly, publish their books, and that's where I started down the book publishing part of things. In the course of doing that, I started about 18 years ago to actually coach people in how to write and publish their books. And about the same time, a little bit later, about a year and a half later, I started studying shamanism, and I started to see that what I was doing in my writing coaching was actually literally channeling spirit-guided coaching. So I would get people's writing and be able to look through it and just intuitively pick out where it was that they were stumbling and struggling, and sometimes the reason why they were doing that would come through in the writing. And I started to be able to really zero in very quickly using my own spirit guides to access what it was that was going on in their lives. A lot of people came to me with an idea about what they wanted to write, but they didn't know how to write, or they didn't know what to do with that idea. Some people would come to me with a full manuscript. I would also be able to look at that manuscript and say, okay, what's missing here, or what haven't you revealed in your writing? And so it was, and then in the actual coaching calls themselves, sometimes I would just come up with stuff that I didn't even know, that I didn't even have experience in, and that was just profound for the coaching client. And that's when I realized that that's what I was doing, was channeling this spirit-guided coaching, literally. And so through the years,
fascinating.
Yeah, through the years it just developed into a process, and now I work. What I see now with my clients, and this happens 100% of the time, is that I can work with their writing and deepen their own healing as they write the book. And so they have their own transformation in the process of writing books for other people to transform. So that's transformational writing coaching part of it.
Wow.
Is that that's the short answer.
But which came first, the shamanic studies, or did you start studying after you experienced this kind of cross through or bleed through from the other side?
It was actually, I had already started to do that before I started studying shamanism. And it wasn't even until maybe a year and a half into the shamanic studies that I linked the two, that I realized that's what I was doing. So it was already happening. It was already in process, yeah. It was really an eye-opening experience when I actually realized that. It was, one day I was just sitting there going, somebody asked me that, a client asked me, how do you, come up with this information? I mean, where do you get this? How do you know this about me? And so at such a short time usually. And that's when it clicked. It was, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm channeling my spirit guides. I didn't say that to that person at that time, but it did click to me. And so then I started deepening that myself in my coaching.
Had you already had an awareness of spiritual guidance at the time?
No. In fact, I had a resistance to spiritual guidance. I'm a recovering Catholic, and my upbringing had been very, very kind of pressed upon me, I would say, the spiritual part. And so I actually had a resistance to even using the word spiritual or spirit or God or any term that specifically defined that. So that's what drew me to shamanism at first, was that I thought it was something outside of those realms, although there are a lot of ways that it does mesh with other things. But no, I didn't know that. It was, I was a skeptic about it, in fact, if I would say that. So that's why it was even more of an aha for me. It was like, wow, I've been doing that. But I just didn't have a reason or a source from that. Yeah.
Well, it was an interesting
it was a big day for me. Let me put it that way.
What an interesting way to channel those talents into actually coaching people. And it really must be a tremendously healing experience for somebody to use their own writing as a way to understand themselves and to get a message out to other people that could help them as well.
And what I found fascinating by that is, in my process, I have people do direct writing to start, so I get an idea of who they are and what their beliefs are, where they're headed with their writing. And oftentimes I would do my little intuitive thing before a coaching call and say, okay, here's where I think this person needs to work on something. And then I would read back to people what they had actually written. And they would say, wow, that's so beautiful. Who wrote that? They didn't even know that they were writing their own way of healing sometimes. It's very fascinating to watch people's, even people that have had a lot of experience writing, to really watch that development of their own understanding and healing of their own process.
What do you
it's one
mean
of the most
by
exciting things that I do. Direct writing, or stream of consciousness writing, is a tool I use in the initial stages. And the reason I do that is because we are in a very, very left-brain society, especially in the United States, but in different parts of the world. But in the United States, we really in school teach people, you have to have an outline to get started writing. It's not a creative society. We actually, spend a lot of time overcoming beliefs around creativity not being productive or financially successful, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's a very logical left brain orientation that we teach in our schools. And so what I do is I flip that upside down. I say, let's throw the outline out initially, because we'll get to that. It'll come in. It's necessary, but it's not where you start. If you start with an outline, you're starting with a box, and that's not how creativity works. And so what I say is, let's do some stream of consciousness writing, direct writing. There's a lot of different terms for it. But basically write everything that's coming to your mind, and there's no structure to it. doesn't need to have grammar or spelling or punctuation correct. Just write what you're thinking. And even I've had literally clients actually write, "I can't believe that MJ is making me do this," and they'll swear at me in their writing, and they're very resistant to it because it's not what they've been taught. They've not been taught to use their right brain, and so it's frightening for a lot of people. It really is scary, and so because it's something new, they've never done it before. So we worked a couple of weeks on that, and in that
remember that book, Drawing from the Right Side of the Brain?
I have that book. Yes. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same thing.
Because that's very, very similar, because you, by turning a picture upside down, you can copy it over with amazing accuracy when you don't associate it with the image you have, the kind of predetermined image you have about what a face or a tree or whatever should look like. And that kind of frees you the same way as the stream of consciousness that you're describing frees you. So
exactly.
we're our own worst enemies when it comes to creativity, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I mean, I've actually had people tell me they absolutely won't do it because it's too their fears all come up when they face a blank page and I don't have any structure. So it's very, very different for them.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's the music for our break. I'm speaking with my new collaborator, MJ Schwader. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTR-FM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
Mother, Mother Ocean.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Buffett. West Indian manatees are one of the most unique animals on Earth, and we're still finding out so many new things about them. But manatees are endangered, and many of them are killed or injured each year because of watercraft collisions or other human activities. You can help save these gentle marine mammals. For free tips on what you can do, call Save the Manatee Club at 1-800-432-JOIN. Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Miriam Knight speaking with MJ Schwader. So we were talking about your awakening, MJ, and it just seems to me that there is almost like a speeding up flywheel. More and more people are coming out with stories of their own awakening. And it is either that they're actually coming out and feeling free to speak about them in greater numbers, or it's happening more frequently. What do you think is the case?
That is a good question. Yeah, I think, my experience is that the veils overall are thinning. We're getting more, in my shamanic community, I see this, that the new people coming into it already have these skills that, I took years to develop. They come into it knowing that already. And it doesn't matter the age necessarily, although I do see that in the younger people more. But I think there's a shift in our universal consciousness going on. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's getting worse and not better. But I do see many more people that would not even have discussed spirituality in the last 15 years are now, like, that's their main focus or primary focus in their lives. So, and I'm seeing that in the writing too. People coming to me, my clients are much more advanced than they were in terms of spiritual topics than they were even 5 years ago. So there's a big shift happening in the universe that I can see, that I feel and sense. It's gloomy some days, but because of that, what I've seen, I do have an incredible amount of optimism about where we actually are headed. And so, does that answer your question? Or did I go off on a tangent?
No. I think the short answer is all of the above, because I also think that the media, films, television, books, are having a big influence. And again, I don't know what is cause and what is effect, but it's almost like people are feeling that they have permission to come out and talk about things that they wouldn't have dreamt about talking about, even 5 or 10 years ago. And that the media are a reflection and also a generator of the awakening.
I agree. And I think, one of the reasons I think that is happening is, 5 years ago, you didn't have the number of people that were able to publish their books. You had to go through a publishing company. And so you were filtered out. I mean, if the publishing company wasn't, a new thought publishing company, then you may never get a book on spirituality to the masses. Now you have the ability to get online and get your own book printed, and you can say whatever you want, and you're not limited by anybody else's filters. So that
but
alone
even the
has
mainstream,
changed
but even mainstream publishers are now publishing books that they wouldn't have touched 10 years ago, as you rightly point out.
Well, and I think that's because they see that the market is, what somebody's perception that maybe is an older paradigm, and then they see, wow, these books are selling. Well, maybe we should get on that bandwagon. It's like the spring uprising in Egypt. I was just listening to something on NPR yesterday about that. What drove that was the public wanting that information, not the powers that be that were forming that message. So it's the same in this, is that if the public is now shifting, and ironically, 9/11 was one of the biggest shifts I've seen in the last 30 years to spirituality, because that made people stop and think about what was important to them. What is important in my daily life? If something that catastrophic happened, how would I respond to that? And I said that day, I said, this is going to have a lot of good come out of this, even as horrible as it is, because people are going to shift their perspective on what is important in our lives. And the truth, and that has happened. There was a huge shift in that way.
I think that's a great observation.
It's one of those things of, who's driving the message. And right now, those spiritual people that have wanted their message to get out there are able to do that in a much easier way than before. So I think that's part of it.
Right. I think we need to get a hold of our studio manager, because there's a very interesting sound in the background. So we'll continue in the meantime, hoping that it's not being recorded. Is that Chris there? maybe you need to, does he need to dial in again?
I think he needs to dial in again.
Okay.
MJ, you need to dial in again.
Okay, well.
Okay. I will finish my thought in the meantime. So we were talking about the shift in consciousness among the public, among the publishers, and that has led to a big shift in the publishing scene that we have seen develop over the last 5 or 10 years. When publishers used to pick up an author, they would hold the author's hand, they would promote their books, they would get them into the bookstores. And the change in technology, great. The change in technology has also caused a change in how publishers support their authors, which they're not now doing as much. And so authors are having to find their own way to get their message out. Now, on the one hand, they have available to them the avenues of self-publishing, of all the social media outlets like Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and Google Plus and so on, YouTube. But this is a scene that not everybody is familiar with. So that's why MJ and I, as we have seen the terrain shifting for authors in particular, which is my bailiwick with New Consciousness Review. But MJ, what have you seen in terms of how healers and practitioners are able to get their word out?
Well, that's a really good question, because I think there is actually, what I see is a kind of almost fear that a lot of conscious living people in that arena have about promotion. And so it is easier to do a lot of different things, and it can get very overwhelming, especially with someone that doesn't have a deep love of technology, or some of the things that actually can make it easier to do all those things. And so, there's so many ways that you can, there's so many tools and so many mediums to use now. And quite frankly, if you don't have more than just one avenue, you're not going to cover as much as you could if you had even 3 avenues. So it can get overwhelming. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people hire me as a coach, because I guide them through that whole process. It's not just the writing, the transformational part, but I actually take them through their choices that they can make in the different mediums. So, for example, you could have, an e-book, and you can have there's many, many different strategies. You can have a printed book, you can have a video, you can have an audio, you can have, I could name off 30 things right now that you can do with that one piece of information and get it out there in different ways. Some for marketing, some for revenue. So you have this, big, huge set of choices to make, and that can get very overwhelming for someone who just really wants to be healing or doing the work that they're doing.
That's the other shift that we've seen, is people are searching for meaning. Now, in some cases, people have come to a crossroads in their professional life, and they may be made redundant. They may have seen their jobs disappear on them, and they're looking for a new way to reinvent themselves that will give them personal satisfaction and have meaning. And I think part of the equation of meaning is that they will make a contribution to the greater good, that the awareness has grown, has exploded, that we are not on this planet alone, that we are part of a greater whole, and it's incumbent on us to contribute to the good of the whole. Have you seen that in your work?
Actually, yeah. When I first started coaching, I actually started by publishing a collaborative book. And I think that's one of the big pillars of, the ascension process right now is coming together in cooperation and collaboration. And so 18 years ago, I, was working on my first collaborative book and bringing different coaches. I was bringing life and businesses coaches together as authors to publish a book together, which helped because not only did one person have to write one book and then market them themselves, they were coming together to get it done faster, with more ease, and they would collaborate on all parts of it, including the promotion and the marketing. So I saw that for a long time ago, and you see that a lot now. But it's in other areas too. So that's, collaborating with you. I asked you when you first approached me, it was like, let's collaborate, not compete. It's coming together to offer more services to people that are maybe timid or afraid or not sure of or overwhelmed with how do they get out there in a bigger way with their message. And that's really what drives me in my writing coaching is everybody has a message inside of them. Everybody has a purpose. Some want to get that out there in a bigger way because they found a way to make their life easier or heal themselves, or they've come up with a process, and those are all beneficial to people. And so what makes me sad is when a healer doesn't promote themselves, and so therefore someone out there isn't getting their healing. So I want to see them become bigger in their own world. And that's why I do what I do.
Well, that's the sound for our next break. Stay with us, and we'll be right back with MJ Schwader. And I'm Miriam Knight.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Have you wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle. Deborah Livingston is an award-winning intuitive psychic medium whose international services include mediumship, spiritual assessment, animal communication, and spiritual mentoring. She is a published author and a trained shaman. Deborah provides evidential messages from spirit and departed loved ones. Learn more at deblivemedium.com. That's DEBLIV medium.com.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Welcome back. Now, before the break, we were talking about the different ways that MJ was advising his clients to promote themselves. And it reminds me of the different ways that my clients, my authors, need to develop in order to promote their books. And people are so multidimensional, and we also have different interests in terms of how we process information. So some of us prefer to read books, some of us like to listen to podcasts or watch videos. Some of our clients have expanded into events, into taking people on tours to sacred places around the world, or offering retreats of coming together in contemplation and seclusion. We are such multifaceted individuals that MJ and I, wanted to create a way to express all of those different parts of our work, of our personalities, in one place. And that's where we started developing the idea of the Happy Guide. So, MJ, I'm interested in particular how you feel that your work in New Connection feeds into Happy Guide.
Well, what we're seeing, New Connection magazine, the print and the online, was working with articles and working with different ways of promoting people who are in the conscious living arena. Similar to yours was specific to reviews of books and films. Ours was a bit broader. But one of the big things that we saw was, and I see in my writing coaching clients as well, is how do you expand beyond that one-on-one meeting with a client? There's so many hours in the day. How do you make more money? How do you affect more people? How do you get your message out there in a broader way? And so that's true on both of my businesses, both New Connection and my writing coaching business. And so, those people that are in the healing arts, in the conscious living arena, if they're not tapping into a broader spectrum, then they might be missing a portion of their audience. And so I saw that with both New Connection and the writing coaching. I wrote a book, ebook on it, 20 years ago, called Multiple Streams of Writing Income, because, like you said, people have different ways of taking that information in. And so if you don't offer it in different ways, then you are limiting the scope of your audience. So New Connection tied right in because we were reviewing books, we were doing the interviews and stuff like that to promote specific authors, and so that tied very nicely into my writing coaching because I have many authors, and so that synchronicity, or what do you call it? I wouldn't call it synchronicity, but that blending of the two is almost natural, and now what we're doing with Happy Guide is an extension of that. Because what we also saw was, okay, now people have more events. They have courses. They have videos. They have all these things, and it was getting more and more difficult to, find them on the website, that kind of thing. So, there is this kind of awakening by the conscious living community that, hey, we do need to have a bigger exposure and more reach, and not just limit it to this one-on-one healing session or one-on-one intuitive session. So
you did say a magic word. You did say a magic word earlier, which was money. And I think that people in the conscious community are starting to come to the realization that they too need to eat, and they need to make a living. Among conscious authors, it's really more the exception than the rule that people make any significant money off of their books. Their books tend to be more a calling card for their expertise and for their courses, for their workshops, webinars, speaking engagements, downloadable DVDs and meditations and tours and things like that. And that's why we wanted to help them not only spread the word about their books, we being New Consciousness Review, but also about the other products through which and services through which they make a living. And making a living, making money, is not a dirty word. It's an expression of love that they are in this field in the first place, trying to make the world better, but they deserve to eat as well. Off my soapbox. Why don't you take over, MJ? I'm getting too pontificating.
No, that's okay. Well, it's like my dad used to say, I've had money and I haven't had money, and I'd rather have money. So, it's one of those things of you've got to survive. I think it's kind of all wrapped up in this back when I first started talking about this whole belief or paradigm that you can't make money if you're creative, or you can't make money if you're different, or you can't make money in the healing art.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so you have this paradigm already there. Now you have this love. You love to do this work, and you're doing this healing, and you're having profound results, and you still have that belief in the back of your mind that I can't make money at this. And so approaching promotion is the flip side of that. Well, I can't spend money on promotion because I don't have money, because I don't believe I can make money, and so therefore I'm not going to charge more. And so it becomes this incredible limiting cycle that you get into because we've been fed this belief that you can't make money doing this. And so, I had to get over that myself. I had to start asking for what I felt my expertise, my 30 years of knowledge and mastery in what I do is worth it. I was just at an art show last week. My sister's an artist. She had a big show at a museum, Mary Hill Museum up in the Gorge. And she priced, there were 40 artists in this competition, basically was what it was. And they had sent the invitations out to thousands of people. So 40 people got into this competition. So she gets in there, and we get in there to see who won the competition. And her work was really good. I mean, she sold 3 of the 4 pieces, but she priced them at like about $250 per, whereas some of the people that were not even selling their, some of the people were charging in the $2,500 to $5,000 range for very similar artwork, and they were selling them. And so my other sister and brother-in-law were there, and we were trying to tell her, look at all these comparable pictures that you're doing. She's very, very good. And so look at all these pictures that are similar to yours, and look how much more they're charging. It's a perceived value. If the artist doesn't believe that the value of their artwork or what they're doing, if a healer is doing their healing, then why would somebody else value that? So right next to her was a artist that was very similar in technique, and we were standing there talking to her, and she said to my sister, she said, you are underpricing yourself. You need to increase your prices. And then she heard it because another artist said that.
Right.
But it's the same in healing. If you truly are offering a service, whatever that service is, and art is a service as well, so is writing a book for someone, that's a service, then believe in it. Believe in your own ability to do this work and the value that goes with it. So it's fascinating to watch the healing.
And price is really just a reflection of how you value yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that is a big hurdle to overcome when the expertise that you're showing, sometimes you think, well, it comes from God or it comes from the universe. I'm not really doing anything, so how do I charge for it? That's how I got into publishing in the first place. I had a healing practice. I was doing energy healing, and I couldn't bring myself to charge for it. So that's when I started up with the magazine. It is a shift in consciousness or part of the shift in consciousness that's happening. And I think the more we see results from our work, the more people value our work, the more we'll value our own contribution to it. It's all connected, as they say.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think has come up recently for me is the idea that people have that they can't spend money on promotion because there's no way to quantify an advertisement, or well, I put this out there and then I never got any response. One and done is never going to work for you. You've got to continually put it out there. I have a client recently, and you know about this, Miriam, who spent $5,000 to get a video series done, a course done that she could put online and make passive income, which is, definitely a thing I encourage my clients to do. And then, when it was suggested that she was going to spend a lot more money than that to promote that video, she freaked out. Because, but the thing is, you can have, this is true of a book or a course or anything, 90% of the success of that is going to be your promotion. And people say, oh, it's such a beautiful book, and, it's great, it's got all this great information. If you don't promote it and nobody knows that you have this book available, then you can have the most beautiful book in the world, and it's just not going to do anything. It's not going to move. So
absolutely.
You got to take that into account, too.
And that's where the power of the community comes in, and collaborative promotion. And that's what we're going to discuss in the final segment. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Join me, Maggie Chula, on Mondays at noon Eastern for Mastermind with Maggie. Let's work together in a mastermind. We can resolve life's problems and create goals for the future. Build action steps empowering you to create your life in partnership with your divine source of light, your soul. Manifesting your goals can be simple and easy, so come with your problems and leave with a plan. The Akashic Master Teachers and I are waiting to help you.
Hi, this is Carly Simon for LifeBeat. The music industry fights AIDS. The AIDS crisis isn't over. There have been amazing scientific breakthroughs, but people are still dying, and your local AIDS organization needs your help more now than ever. Volunteer and make a difference.
Welcome back. Okay, as promised, we're going to tell you about Happy Guide. It's Happy Guide, HAPIGUIDE.com. And Lord willing, it's going live tomorrow, September 1st, 2016. I know it's a solar eclipse, and what can you do? The stars will just have to be with us. So, Happy Guide, we're looking for creating a community around this, a community of visitors, of seekers, and of professionals, of people who are offering their heart's work to the world. MJ, tell us about the directory offerings?
Well, we have quite a few different offerings. In the directory, there's different levels. At our top level, you can post your events, you can post your videos, you can post your articles, you can create links and coupons to offer to visitors, etc. So there's a lot of different offerings that the member can actually provide to the visitors. And then there's in the different categories that we have, the health, awakening, the purpose, and the inspiration. So you can actually choose more than one of those areas too. So like, for example, in my case, I have writing coaching, but I also have the shamanic work that I do on occasion. And so depending on what I want to promote, I can put different things up under my membership. Is that the question you were asking?
Yeah, that's the question I was asking.
Yeah. So it's very exciting. We're also going to be, weaving this in with the magazine, but we're also going to be presenting information on the site as well. So it's going to be a place where people can come and get more knowledge about conscious living products and services and the businesses that offer those things. And that's what's
right.
really exciting.
It's
helping both sides.
And New Consciousness Review magazine is now going to include the Happy Guide resource directory. So we will have the profiles and coupon offerings of our members as the half of the literary review magazine. So we'll be combining them onto one platform, and they'll be feeding off each other. Very excited about that. And as you know, the magazine is on 3 different digital platforms, on JUMag, Magster, and Issue. And it is reaching out to many millions and millions of readers. So it's part of the strategy to work on the basis of affiliates. We can't stress enough how important cooperation, collaboration, and mutual support is at this time. That's why we've kept the prices incredibly low for Happy Guide, because we want to support you in a way that's affordable. The basic rate starts at free. What we do ask is that you help us promote the site, and so there is some kind of energy exchange. The middle level, the pro level, is only $9.90 a month, or $99 for the year, and the top level is $29.90 for the all singing, all dancing pro member. Sorry, the middle level is premium. We ask that you help each other promote the site, and that way we'll promote the whole community. Simply by visiting, by telling your friends about it, by making this a real buzzing, happy place. Leaving comments, leaving reviews to help the person who comes after you know that this is a really fantastic healer or writer or coach. This is a brand new site, so please cut us some slack. This is still in beta testing stage, so if you encounter any problems, shoot us an email to info@happyguide.com, and we will get on it right away and squash those bugs as their little grubby heads arise. MJ, any thoughts to add?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the reasons why I'm really excited about this, and we have this often in New Connection, and I'm sure you probably have run across it too, is, there's nothing really out there, Now there is. Tomorrow there will be. But there's nothing really out there that you can say, oh, I live here in Portland, Oregon. I want to find out more about the psychics that are out there because I want to see a psychic and I don't know who to choose from. This is a site where you can then go and you can compare. You can see what they offer as well as what somebody might leave as a review or a comment about them. So it's very that's exciting for me because I've been looking for that. I've wanted that on many occasions. What kind of healer do I want to go to, and then which one of those healers is going to work for me? And I do that when I go buy something on Amazon.com. I read reviews. I check out the information. You know, I dig deeper, and there's nothing like that out there for conscious living providers. So I'm very excited about that. And we have, like you said, price it low so people can get in and you know, do it at a lower level or at the higher level, but start to really expand their exposure, you know, expand their reach. Because this isn't just for Portland. This is a global site. You can go in as a visitor and search from your locality. So people in San Diego or people in Michigan, you know, wherever you are, you can be a member and provide that to the local or the global audience. So it's very exciting in both those reasons.
I'd like to expand on that. The directory is set up so that it has a map, a Google map ID, and you can see where people are on a map. Now, the importance of a local directory, as MJ said, is that if you want to find a healer or a massage therapist or a naturopath near you, you can look at the map and see where they are. More and more people are offering their services via Skype, via the web. Their products are globally relevant. But sometimes you do need that local quality. And so we are also looking for affiliates who will spearhead the development of a local directory in other cities. So if you have a base of clients, maybe you're the publisher of a magazine or you have a big practice somehow and would like to take on the affiliate role in another city, do contact us at info@happyguide.com, and we would love to talk to you because we've already built the infrastructure into the website, and it is very easy to add on additional localities.
Yes. And we'll, of course, start with Portland because, can you still hear me?
Yeah, because that's where we are. Yay, Portland.
Yeah, because that's where we are. This is who we know. But yes, it can be anywhere. And we do. We already have some of the beta testers that we have are from Michigan and other places. So it's not limited to this locality at all. It's definitely a global reach. Yeah, and you know, like you said, in shamanism, even we're doing now Skype and long distance healing. That's all I do now. I don't have a local healing practice, but there on occasion some of my coaching clients want healing, and so we do it via Skype. So there's a lot of different ways of extending your reach.
Right. So what do you think, MJ, will be the most popular feature on Happy Guide?
Oh, definitely the search feature. Yeah, for the visitors, definitely the search and review. That to me, I just think that the people like that ability to find out more than what people are putting out there for themselves. What are other people saying about them? I'm excited about that. I like that. I like to do my research. I like to, do my due diligence and find out what's out there that's going to work for me. So that's my view of it.
Well,
I also love the other side of it, the member side. The other side is that the members have another massive way of getting their their work out there too.
One of my favorites is the events, because I know as a radio host, I have all kinds of exciting guests coming up. And just to be able to list them for, in real time for the visiting audience, I think is tremendously useful. And I might add that one of the things that we have in the works is creating a mobile app that will feed you the events in real time, as well as coupons and products. So that's the music for the wrap-up, and I'm so glad that we were able to share this exciting news with you today. I want to thank my new business partner, MJ Schwader, and from both of us, Miriam Knight and MJ, Happy Guide and New Consciousness Review. Thank you for listening, and visit us tomorrow on happyguide.com. HAPI guide.com. Remember, that's health, awakening, purpose, and inspiration. May you have all of them in your lives. Many blessings.